growing up with the NES means I didn't have a lot of games to start out with, so I had to rent a lot.
I certainly hope you had Gyromite in your collection.
Unfortunately, I did not get that game.
Oh, come on. How can you miss out on my favorite?
Sorry, Rob, I got the action set with Mario and Duck Hunt in it, so I was playing that game instead. Now, I certainly had a blast playing those, but on weekends, I got to go over to my dad's house and rent some NES games, horror movies, and get some Burger King.
Ah, the good old days. I'd love a Whopper Jr. with cheese, please.
Oh, did you want something?
Are you freaking kidding me?
So grab your Blockbuster video card, because we're breaking down the top 5.
The top 5 games I rented on NES.
Top Tuesday.
The first game on the list is based off of one of my favorite 80s movies, and that is none other than Batman on NES.
Man, Sunsoft killed it with this game. The music is fantastic, it looks awesome, and it plays great for sure. I mean, yeah, it's really hard, but I remember renting this one a bunch back in the day and playing probably the first 3 levels, because I'm sure I couldn't get past the 3rd level in the sewer there with those guys jumping all around. But I had a blast playing through these beginning levels, just the gritty, dark atmosphere that captured what the movie, Tim Burton's movie, was about here. And again, using Batman, you get all the cool weapons, the batarangs, the different types of guns, or just using your fist to defeat enemies. Now, granted, I would have liked to seen some better villains for the bosses instead of kind of the generic ones that we got, but still pretty neat, and the level design is where it really shines through. Again, it gives that gritty Gotham atmosphere, going through the sewer plants and underground and eventually getting to the clock tower and climbing that. And such an endurance, and you finally get to the top, defeat the boss, and then you were able to take on the Joker, the final battle, which took me forever to beat using, fortunately, save states. Yes! We jammed on that button! Beat the Joker! I know you murdered my parents, and now you'll dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. Boom! There he falls.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
A classic game for sure, but hopefully one day I can beat this game without using save states.
Russ, quit being a dirty little cheater.
Come on, can you blame a guy? Now for some 2-player action with this weekend rental, and that is Contra.
Classic opening screen in music for sure. This definitely was a great rental back in the day. 2-player action, so you could play with your buddy. Yeah, you only got 3 lives, but you got some continues. And maybe if you were subscribed to Nintendo Power, you could get the Konami code and get 30 lives and be able to go back and try to beat the game. You know, you're playing this over a weekend, so you're going over and over the same parts. So you're getting better with each day, each rental of it. So then you could finally take out this first boss with ease and move on to the next section. Certainly a classic for sure.
Did you know this was called Probotector in Europe because they used robots instead of humans? My kinda game.
Thanks for that fun tip, Rob. Yeah, Contra's certainly fun for 2 players and a great rental. Alright, we made it this far and we had to put a Mario game on the list.
You already mentioned Mario 1.
Yeah, but that was the one that came with my system. I didn't rent that game.
Whatever. Let's get to the good stuff.
So we had to add Super Mario Bros. 3 on here. Of course, growing up, I seen The Wizard, and you got to see this game in that movie. Of course, you wanted to rent it if you couldn't purchase the game. And it was just so awesome. So many more levels to play, different power-ups. I remember getting the exclusive Nintendo Power with the red cover, Mario with his raccoon suit on the cover, and it had all the tips and secrets you would ever need for this game to conquer this game. I would bring it to school and study it. Couldn't wait to get home to play this game. Just love all the extra things in here, like the matching game. This gave me so much stress as a kid, right? Trying to line this up. Come on, mushroom. Let's go. One more. So simple, right? Hit it now. Hit it now. Now. Come on. No whammy. Fail. No extra lives for me. And of course, we all know about the white block, the kneel down, and you can pass through it to get yourself the first whistle. This way you can go to the later levels, and if you had the book or you knew where the other whistle were, you can get this whistle and the next whistle, use them in succession to get all the way to World 8 within a few minutes of starting up the game. But you wouldn't have a lot of power-ups that I like to go into World 8 with all the extra, suits and P-Wings and all that, because some of these levels can be quite difficult. But certainly a classic game to rent and play over and over again.
Okay, that was a game I rented back in the day, and I needed many hours to beat the game.
Beat it. Beat it. Grab this game and beat it.
Really?
More of a thriller fan, I guess.
Okay, before we get to my last two, let's see what you guys had to say for games you rented on the NES. Alright, we got 2000 Crabmaster says, could never resist the allure of Arnav cover as a kid. Rented it because of the box art was awesome and kept trying to convince myself it was amazing for several weeks because of that. Dude, I think I have the same exact feeling on that. The cover is awesome. Never really got far in the game. MC Squarewolf says 3D World Runner, great game. Phasing Man says, I remember renting Bionic Commando more than once. Fantastic game. PFC Flembo says, Faxanadu always seemed to be in my rotation. Again, another great game. Classics. El Flamo, for some reason, as a kid, I absolutely loved Anticipation. The 90s are rad. I remember renting TMNT 2 a few times from a local video store growing up. Michael Butler says, always rented Hook. Rented it so many times my parents realized, too late, that just buying it for me would have been cheaper. Purchaser's Thrifting Double Dare in the NES. It was actually a fun two-player game, and my stepbrother and I could play without wanting to kill each other for 30 minutes or so. Retroholic 16, I remember renting Darkwing Duck and Batman, The Return of the Joker, from King Scoopers by me all the time. I love that you remember the rental store name as well. The Confusing Word says, I would probably rent the OG Castlevania. I have it on other consoles, etc., but nothing beats it on NES. Facts for sure. And Black Cloud RN says, TNC Surf. It's all I've played since SoCal. Classic game for sure. I could never figure out the surfing quite well to get the tricks in that, but definitely a fun one. Good rental indeed.
Yeah, I would have totally rented some of those.
Well, those are certainly some great comments. Appreciate you guys leaving them. If you guys want to get in on the comments, I usually post on Mondays in the community tab on the YouTube page, so you can get yours read on the show.
Receiving transmission. Receiving transmission.
Oh, looks like we got a special guest that wants to chime in on the NES rental games.
Hey Russ, what you doing?
Hey, it's Andy. What's up? From the 90s are rad. Dude, do you got a submission you want to put in for a rental game?
So, an NES game that I would rent relatively often. We didn't have our NES for too long. But a game that I remember renting is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. This is just one of those games that it's so much fun, especially, for being on the NES, being a beat 'em up on the NES. It's really fun, really great levels, really good music. And what was cool was we had a local arcade that had the actual arcade version. Then I could go to our local mom and pop video shop and just rent the game for a couple bucks for the weekend and beat it, have fun with it, and then return it. So it's one of those games that I'm super nostalgic for, and I still have a blast playing it.
Dude, thank you so much for the submission. Guys, be sure to check out Andy's channel. The 90s are rad, so all things 90s on there. It's a fun time. All right, let's get back to this countdown.
Yes, Simon's Quest for sure was a favorite rental of mine. And it's got a password system. Why wouldn't it be? This way you can pick up where you left off the previous week and it's all your progress. You didn't have to worry about someone saving over your save. And this gave you so much to do for the weekend, so much exploring than the first game. You could go through different towns, explore the woods, go to the swamp. The music in this game is fantastic in every area. It just sets that awesome atmosphere, and I was so blown away. You could be outside, you just weren't in a castle. You could see this beautiful landscape and mountains in the background. It just really transported you there. Okay, the difficulty's still there with your knockback and all that. What a horrible night to have a curse. I love this transition. I don't think it broke up anything. It stops, lets you pause for a moment, lets you know it's getting nighttime. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. All right, you got to hit those skeletons a little bit harder. And then you finally get to your first mansion here. And maybe you didn't know how to proceed. Did you buy the white crystal? I did. I made sure I bought the right crystal. You got to activate it so you can get the platform and continue on. Fun secrets like that. Maybe you got to get the Nintendo Power, talk to your friend at school to see where he was going. Maybe he'd give you his password and you can enjoy the game. Fantastic rental for sure. I rented this a ton and was so happy when I was able to get it for myself.
Okay, definitely gonna get some mixed thoughts on that last one there, but I stand by what I said.
Well, that would be a first. I'm still waiting for my paycheck you promised me.
Okay, now on to the final and probably most rented NES game, that's for sure, and it's Mega Man 2.
It's gotta be. This game, so much better than the original. It just brought so much more to the franchise. And again, a perfect rental title for the weekend. You can choose your difficulty and you had your password. So this way you could pick up where you left off. Granted, it was a little crazy with this grid system, coloring in circles, so I had to have its own notebook for the passwords. And I love you can choose which boss you want to start with. Maybe you want to start with Airman and you can't get too far in his stage, so you start with someone else. But I just remember getting little by little further in this game and just really enjoying it. The bosses, the art style, again, I practiced drawing some of these in class. Mega Man, and getting into the music, this just gets you pumped to play. Now, it's been quite some time since I've gone back and beaten this game. It's certainly NES difficult, but one I enjoyed. Maybe you didn't rent 2, maybe you rented Mega Man 3 or 4. They were all fantastic rental titles exclusively, because I think of the password system and how you can choose which level you like to go to so you can experience most of the game without having to beat the level. Maybe some of the other games you had to beat level 1 to go to level 2, but with this you can choose which robot master you want to fight off with. Obviously now we all know, go to Metal Man, get the Metal Blade. It's the most powerful weapon in the game and it essentially makes the game a little bit more easier.
Great choice for sure. Love me some fighting robot action.
Yeah, I figured you would, Rob. Now that sums up NES games that I would have rented back in the day. And sometimes you would play a game and it wouldn't play out as well because of the back of the box art wasn't always reliable.
Yeah, those back-of-the-box screenshots could be misleading sometimes.
And if you wanted good NES games to check out that are under $10, you can check out this video right here. As always, guys, I'm RussLyman.
Do it. Click that video.
And keep your world fun bit by bit. I'll see you next video.